Hello everyone, happy new week and welcome to the Peter Lawwell funded 67 Hail Hail. That's just a wee joke. Don't worry, if you don't get it, you're really not missing out on much at all. Just a wee bit of feedback we got from a follower of the channel late last week. I'm in a good mood, you can probably tell that. It's sunny-ish wherever I'm recording in an undisclosed location somewhere in Ayrshire. The days are getting longer, summer is nearly here, the pandemic is basically over at this stage. We're pretty much back to normality. And there's something else as well. What is it? Oh, that's it. Celtic are going to win the league. Alright, it's not won yet, I will admit that, but there is a high probability that Celtic will get the job done over our next couple of home matches against Rangers this weekend and Hearts the following weekend. Let's just remind ourselves of the situation in the Premiership, with Celtic 6 points clear with 12 points to play for. 7 points from our final 4 matches will clinch the title. If we win on Sunday against Rangers, we'll need just 1 more point. Draw, and we'll need 4 more. Of course, our vastly superior goal difference would mean that victory on Sunday would effectively secure the league title. At that stage, we would be 9 points clear of Rangers with just 9 to play with that very healthy goal difference. So that's how close we are to glory right now. Now, Ange was asked about this whole dynamic in his post-match interview by the BBC yesterday. He was asked whether victory next weekend would secure the title. Typically, Ange's response was, "We'll keep going till the trophy's handed out. It doesn't get handed out next week, as far as I know. Our job is to get back home on our pitch, play our football, and hopefully send our supporters home happy." The only thing missing there from Ange was a mate. A trophy actually doesn't get handed out until Trophy Day, funnily enough, in the final game of the season. So maybe that means that Celtic simply won't stop, trademark, until that point, and I'm sure we'd all settle for that. Now, across the city, they're coming to terms with the fact that we are almost certainly going to win this league. They're already trying out new narratives to try and take away from what would be a momentous Celtic achievement. A couple of my favourite narratives that I'm going to tackle in this video. Number one is that this isn't a very good Celtic team. And number two, my real favourite, that Celtic have somehow bought their way to this league title. Now, it's just a coping mechanism. If I supported a team who had shipped such a big lead this season after winning it so comprehensively last year to a manager who I'd been saying wouldn't even make Halloween or Christmas, then I would be coming up with some wacky theories as well. Let's tackle the buying the league one first, because this is my favourite, as I say. Now, Celtic have spent around £23 million on players this season. For that, we have got 14 first-team players who have gone on to play a part this season. But £30 million worth of talent also left the club in the summer. Odsonne Edouard, Christopher Ajer, Ryan Christie all left to go down south. We also lost our talisman, Scott Brown, the most important Celtic player probably of the last couple of decades, maybe certainly 15 years or so. We lost him for nothing. We also lost Olivier Ntcham, Moye Elyounoussi, players who had contributed to Celtic in seasons prior to that. Celtic haven't bought this league at all. We've actually achieved all of this while maintaining a profit in the transfer market. We've brought in more money than we've put out on players, which to me actually kind of elevates the achievement of the players in Ange. The fact that we've been able to do all this without actually spending beyond our means, like certain clubs have tried in the past and probably currently as well. So that's a load of nonsense. The narrative that this Celtic team simply isn't very good is just sour grapes, really. We've only won this league because Rangers have chucked it away, is basically the narrative. Celtic are currently on 85 points after 34 matches. It's pretty fair to assume that we'll make it to 90. I think most people would expect that to happen. That's something we've only managed once since 2015, which was the Invincible season. So getting to 90 points is a real barometer of success for Celtic in the league, and more often than not it guarantees the league title. There's been years in the past where Celtic have won the league low 80s, so this clearly isn't one of the worst Celtic teams to have won the league. Celtic have dropped 17 points all season And when you consider that 11 of those were in the first 7 weeks of the season, it really does put into focus the incredible run that this team have been on since week 7. Now, I know Ange mentions week 6 after the defeat to Livy. I would look at it after week 7. We'd already dropped 11 points after our first 7 games. We've only dropped 6 more, in the 27 games since. Sorry, I'm just trying to do live maths here, and I'm not good at maths at the best of time. But that is just the run Celtic have been on, and it gives me a lot of hope even for years to come. This is going to be a terrible, terrible analogy because I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but it's like running a marathon, but your legs are tied together for the first 3 miles and you still come into the home straight in the lead. That's how I look at Celtic this season. We had this horrendous start that was kind of put upon Ange and the players because of the state we were in the summer. And we've still found a way to get through that, albeit with a bad start to the season, and rise and rise and rise, and now we're in this incredible position. It really does take a bit of believing, and when you look at it for years to come, then Celtic are almost going to be automatically, 6-7 points up next season where we were this season, because we're not going to have that horrendous start, all things being well anyway. So yeah, since those 3 away defeats at the start of the season, we've won 13 out of 15 on the road, and while our home form has been pretty impeccable all season, we've only dropped 4 points at home in the league this season, which is incredible. It's arguably that away form since Livingston away that has got us into this position. 13 wins out of 15, couple of goalless draws in there away to St Mirren and Hibs. I can't ever remember a Celtic team going on this kind of run away from home domestically. So it's great stuff. And just a wee reminder that the guy leading this special team was meant to be sacked by Christmas or Halloween. Rangers B team could apparently win the league, and Celtic were of course running scared when we brought the winter break forward at the end of December. Just remember all of these things and now kind of see where the narrative has drifted to. It's gone from Ange is a dud to Ange get too much money, and if that's not a mark of how much Ange has transformed Celtic and brought us back to the top of Scottish football, then I don't know what is. Now on to some more respected commenters from the channel. From the live stream yesterday, it was me, John and Stevie. You can check that out above. We've picked out a few comments. We're going to start with ND saying Celtic are only winning these games because of the referees and pals like Malky. Rangers will still win the league playing fair, and VAR next year will make sure we stay champions. Pathetic. Union Jack middle finger. Have we not checked these? Brought in some new staff and they're having an absolute nightmare. Just a wee bit like ND actually. Funny that. Yeah, don't really know what to make of that. But hopefully you're enjoying the channel and the league table, ND. We'll move on to Paul Cochrane, who is a subscriber to the channel. It's not over, but does anyone see our boys losing focus? Could you see us getting lazy and presumptive? Not a chance. Big Ange's insistence on hard work and consistency of performance is our guarantee. That's the thing. I think Celtic will go at full pelt until we win this league. See, even if we win this weekend and the league is all but done, you know for a fact we're coming out flying the following week against Hearts. I'm actually more interested about what happens if we do manage to clinch the league with 1 or 2 games left in the season, because I can't imagine Ange as being the kind of manager who will, let the team go through the motions even if the league is won. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Now moving on, Barry Denton. Big Carl Starfelt had a very good game. A lot of his work goes unnoticed. Oh, that's it. Sorry, I was expecting more there. He did. Carl Starfelt was good again yesterday. There was one moment in particular in the second half where I felt we were just under a little bit of pressure and the ball came to him in the air and just getting a little bit concerned for whatever reason, and he just calmly nodded it out to the left, I think to Greg Taylor, and it really just relieved the pressure at that stage. And I think that right there was evidence of where Carl Starfelt has come on. I think at the start of the season he was very erratic, he got very flustered very easily. Even at Ross County, funnily enough, mid-December that would have been, I think he's improved immensely since then, and he's become a massive player for us. Kevin Quinn also wanted to pick out a player. Thought Ralston was great and brings something different to the team. The overlaps, then crosses all day from him were brilliant. I thought he really helped to set the tone yesterday as well. He had a couple of really crunching tackles early on in the game. He actually took a really sore one as well. And I think that could be really important on Sunday as well against Rangers. This Celtic team has a lot going for them. Maybe the one thing we do lack at times is aggression. We don't really have a Scott Brown anymore. And I think a player like Ralston could be huge in that game in terms of setting the tone and making it a really uncomfortable afternoon for Rangers. Kind of like they did at Hampden against us, and very much like we did the last time they visited Celtic Park at the start of February. He just impresses me every time I watch him, Ralston. He's just turned into a really, really good player, and it's just so unfortunate for him that Josip Juranovic is so unbelievably good, because Ralston's had a great season as well, and he'd be starting for, well, basically every other team in Scotland and probably a fair few down south as well if he was playing for them. We'll move on. Pat O. Celtic da here. That's all right, Pat. I remember walking out of Ibrox in 2005 after a 2-1 win to go 5 clear with 4 to play. On bus back, everyone felt we had won it. My caution was dismissed. We lost 2 of last 4 to lose it on last day. Those scars remain. Today's game was key, but forgive me, I can't count this title as ours yet. Sorry to be a wet blanket. I feel like you'd get on quite well with our very own Stevie, Pat. In all honesty, I think the caution is fine. It doesn't really matter how you, I, or anyone else watching this is feeling. The main thing to take away is that this Celtic team is incredibly motivated, and Ange has them firing, and they will continue to be firing until we win the league. And I think that's the main thing. So it doesn't really matter how we're feeling. It's all about the team on the pitch, and whether you're slightly more cautious, whether I'm slightly more optimistic, whether I'm perhaps unrealistic, surely not, then, there's not really a right or a wrong approach to take. Now, on that note, I'm away to order some printed Champions t-shirts, so we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, you can help us get to 29,000 subscribers. If we can get there before Sunday, it will just set us up all very nicely for what's to come. So join the 67 Hail family. It's always appreciated when we get new members to our growing family of nearly 30,000. We've got a few things planned between now and Sunday. It's going to be a big week. Hopefully, it's going to have the big ending that we're all hoping for. We'll chat to you tomorrow.